There we go. So yeah. So we're going to start off with that flow that I introduced you to last week. So we start off in a kneeling position, but we're going to settle with the breath to start with. So it might be that you want to be in a seated, just a comfortable seated position, but know that when we start the flow, we come from this kneeling base. So I'll just come and face you to start with. So in this comfortable seated position, really feel the base of your posture. So feel the contact of your base with the earth so that you notice how grounded and secure you are. We want the spine to be alert. So that's not a tight grip and it's also not a slouch, just somewhere in between where you really feel like you've got an upward lift. And with the mouth closed and the jaw soft, just noticing your natural breath flowing through the nose. Just notice the quiet subtlety of the breath. And pay particular attention to the real gentle rise and fall to the lower side of the ribs and the front of the belly. So low, light, and just noticing your slow speed. So we're going to work with coherent breathing. It's a circular breath. The inhalation, the exhalation is an even count. And we use 4, but if 4 doesn't work for you, if you need it to be slower or faster, then do just work to your tempo. So this doesn't mean that you increase the volume. It just means that you're slowing the light, low breath. So I'll be counting in for 4 and out for 4. There's no pause at the inhalation, at the end of the inhalation and exhalation. It's a lovely, slow circle. So we're just going to add a little movement of the pelvis. So as you breathe out, you gently tilt backwards. So there's a soft buttock tuck. And then as you breathe in, the pelvis tilts forwards. Don't take this movement up through the whole of the spine just yet. Just this soft rocking in time with your slow breath. Now when you tilt backwards, draw strongly up through the pelvic floor. When you tilt forwards, the tone will drop a little, but keep that connection, keep that upward lift. And then we can take this movement to the rest of the spine. So as you softly tuck under on the exhalation, the weight will move back, the back will flex and round, you can bring the chin to the chest. Leading with the pelvis. As you breathe in, the bottom will stick back, the belly will move forwards, but think about the belly and the chest lifting upwards, and you can take your gaze up if the neck is happy. Leading with the pelvis, it tucks under, back flexes and rounds, chin to chest. So we lead with the pelvis and we end with the head, so that you really feel that kind of flexible, snake-like quality to the spine. Now we're going to start that sequence, so come to kneeling if you're not. Following your exhalation, when you're rounded, you're going to raise the bottom from the heels and the arms come into a forward arc. Take a breath in, drop the tailbone down, but lift the heart up towards the ceiling. On the exhalation, round through the spine, the bottom is going to hover above the heels. That high tones through the pelvic floor. Inhale in this position because it's lovely. It offers a lovely opening to that lower back. On the exhalation, with the fingers stretched forwards, roll yourself forwards into a half plank position. On the inhalation, Drop the hips down and forwards, chest forwards and upwards, looking up if the neck's happy. Exhaling, dropping the body down to the earth. Just got to move my props out of the way. Inhaling, hands move towards feet so that the chest can move forwards. Exhale, press up to that half plank position. Inhale, drop hips down and forwards. Exhale, lead with the pelvis to tuck under, bringing the weight back. You're in that long stretched child position. Inhaling here. Now on the exhalation, round 2, rolling yourself up to high kneeling. Inhale, open the arms to a wide V. Exhale, lead with that pelvis to flex through the spine. Reach the hands forwards. Breathe into the back of the body. Remember, all the time you've got high tone through the pelvic floor. Exhale, small wave to a front plank position. Now, you can raise the knees if you want to as you drop the hips down and the chest forwards. Then on the exhalation, you can keep the knees lifted as you drop the body to the floor. So only add this on if you choose to. Inhale, lengthening forwards. Exhale, press the ground away. So again, you might want to press the tops of the feet to the floor to come into an upward dog. The knees come down so that you can take that small wave back. Breathing into the back of the body. And as you breathe out, last round, you're going to roll to high kneeling. Inhaling. Exhale, flex around the spine. High tone through the pelvic floor as the bottom hovers above the heels. Breathing into the back of the body. Breathing out, small wave forwards. Inhale, knees to the floor or lifted. Front stretch to the body. Exhale, dip down, lie to the earth. Inhale, offer yourself a gentle back strengthen. And then press up using your arms. Inhale to extend the spine, front stretch or upward facing dog. Exhale, knees down, wave your body back. Inhaling. And then on the exhale, bottom to heels. Lovely. So hopefully feeling a little warmer, maybe a little stronger in the arms. So you're going to keep that quiet, low, light, coherent breath throughout the practice. You're going to come from this all fours position. Just take the hands a little further in front. So maybe a hand's length, your hand's length. Hands are shoulder width apart or a little wider. And really spread through the fingers. Try and have equal contact on each finger and the circumference of the heel of the hands. So the center of the heel of the hands, it actually feels a bit like a suction cup. There's a little lift. Now you're going to tuck the toes under. Just notice where the weight is on the tucked toes. And I'd like you to put more weight to the big toe joint. So the inner heels draw in slightly. You will need high tone through the pelvic floor. And just take a flexed position with the spine. Then take an extended position with the spine. And let the body settle, let the spine settle in the middle. The hands are going to press down and forwards. And on an exhalation, you're going to raise the knees. And on an inhalation, you're going to lower the knees. So just notice as you raise how you have tone running through the inner thighs, the pelvic floor, and the abdomen. Now, the next time you're lifted, keep this high tone, but lift the bottom up a little towards the earth and the hands press you back. Now, I want you to be with really bent legs, so bent knees. You're high on the balls of the feet and the toes. And
just really notice how much pliability you've got in your body because we've taken out the back of the legs. So that stretch of the back of the legs isn't there. There's still strength involved. And now what I want you to do is drop the heels down towards the earth and let the legs come towards straight. So my legs are bent. You might be straight, but just don't pop forwards. So we're increasing tension to the back of the legs. We're going to work the back of the upper arms, tricep muscles. As you bend the right knee, bend the right elbow. As you bend the left knee, bend the left elbow. So it's a walking dog, but adding in the arms. So building strength in the arms also. Come into stillness, bring the knees to the floor, keep the toes tucked and just have a little pause. So just rest the arms. It might be that you want the forehead to the floor and the arms by the side of the body. So just taking a load off of the arms because we're going to come back through dog to raise one leg to step forward into a lunge. Now, if that sounds too much for you to do, then from this long all fours, you can always step left foot forwards from this position. You don't have to come through dog. So this is where you also might want your bricks to the short end of the mat. So if you're choosing to come into dog, hands pressed down and forwards, have the high tone through the pelvic floor as you lift up. Then drop the heels down. You can release the tone through the pelvic floor when you're in your dog down position. Check that the shoulder blades are sliding down the back. Now, a little more tone through the pelvic floor because you're going to raise the left leg. Wait for an exhalation, and then you're going to wave the spine forwards as the knee comes in towards the nose and plant the left foot to the floor. And this is where you might want your bricks, and you're going to lower the knee down and untuck the toes. So you might want padding under that knee. You don't have to have blocks. It just raises you up a little. It might make the posture more comfortable. Lovely. So from this position, we're going to take the bottom back and then the knee forwards. So notice the stretch to the back of the left thigh, and then when the knee comes forwards, notice the stretch to the front of the right thigh. So just using your coherent breath, so the movement's nice and slow, but there's that easy kind of fluidity to the movement. Next time the bottom is back, hold this stretch to the back of the left thigh. The bricks could be closer towards the shoulders, or you can have a stretch to the sides of the body. So just do what suits. Play around with the foot position. It might be that you want to peel the sole of the foot from the floor. Lovely. Wherever you are, bring that left knee forwards, but don't come into that dropped lunge position. Wait for an exhalation to drop the tailbone down, the arms lift up. So you're in a 90-90 position, hip and knee stacked, and front knee and ankle stacked. So as you breathe in, open the arms to that V, welcome the stretching of the chest upwards. You're going to exhale, nice neutral spine, arms come to a T shape. On the inhalation, left arm down, right arm up. So you're in a side stretch. I'm just going to pivot round a little bit so you have a different view. So make sure this arm's not back in space. Have it so that you can see it in your peripheral vision. So as you breathe out, ground down through the feet and stretch the right fingertips up, the left fingertips down. And as you breathe in, release the pressing down of the feet, but continue to stretch the right side of the body.
So the exhalation sees you grounding down and reaching. Inhalation, relaxation to the base of the posture, but keep your length. Now, as you press down, notice the tone, especially running up through this right leg, inside thigh, front of thigh, and up into the front of the pelvis. So on your next exhalation, that right arm's going to come down. One inhalation to the left side, and then exhaling, bringing the hands to frame the left foot. I'll come back round again. So tucking the right toes under, and you're going to raise the right knee. Turn the right toes out, centre of right heel to the floor. You might want to be on your bricks. So we're going to come into side angle bend, side angle stretch, Trikonasana. So you can keep the left hand on the brick, or you can bring the left forearm onto the thigh. So on this side, I'll do it with the brick. The right arm comes forwards and encourage it just a little backwards. What this does is it brings the rib cage, the breastbone, to look from the floor to the sides. Do draw up a little through the pelvic floor. And now we're going to move to trikonasana. So the right arm stretches up. Now put your attention into the left buttock and lift the left buttock up towards the ceiling. Some of you might have a straight left leg, others might be bent, but we're putting in that stretch to the hamstrings. You can keep the hand on the block, but try and find some lightness. So kind of fairy light fingers. So hamstrings really, really linked to the back of the body. So we need that flexibility of the body to move between that strength and length. Lovely. On an exhalation, bend through that left knee so you can frame the foot. Two options, because we're going to come into plank. Knee can come down so that you come into a half plank, or with the knee lifted, you sweep the lower leg up towards the belly. So come into whatever version you want. That left leg then straightens and you're in a full plank position. Find your breath and push back into dog down. So know that you could be in that all fours position, because when you welcome an inhalation, the right leg's going to lift. High tone through the pelvic floor to bring the right leg through into, first off, a high lunge, but then we lower the knee to the floor, untucking the toes. Have your bricks if you want to. And then we add in that bending and straightening of the leg. And as we do these different sides, always noticing any similarities or differences that you have, whether you've got increased tone to one side, whether there's maybe some equilibrium to the two sides. You're going to hold this stretch to the back of the right leg. Again, choosing whether you want to be more upright, whether you want stretch to the sides of the body. How does it affect the tone to the back of the leg? And especially the lower back and glutes if you raise that heel. When I raise the sole of the foot, when I raise the sole of the foot, it actually puts in too much tension to my sit bone where the hamstring's attached to. So it's, yeah, I keep my foot down, it's too much for me. So you need to find your place. Never pain. And then
you're going to drop that left hip forwards, but don't come into that slouched lunge position. So that on an exhalation, tailbone drops down, arms float up. Inhale to lift up, feel the length down the front of that left thigh, through the abdomen and chest. Nice neutral spine to restack. And then when you're ready on an inhalation, you come over to the right side. So you're going to use that exhalation to press the feet, shin and knee down to the earth. The inhalation, you soften the pressure, but you keep the length. So you increase length on the exhalation, keep length, or even see if you can lengthen a little bit more. So there's more effort on the exhalation, but don't be gripping your tooth. And then the inhalation, there's some length. Do that one more time. And then on an exhalation, neutral, one stretch to the other side. Exhaling, framing the foot. So from this position, know that you can be on your blocks. You're going to tuck the left toes under so that you can pivot the toes out. Root the outside edge of the left foot, centre of the heel, space below the little toe and space below the big toe joint. Drop the tailbone down and draw up through the pelvic floor. It might be that you come here. The lower down to the earth, the more likely you'll be to lose that spinal rotation. You might be here. So it's far better for you to come up from the earth. This will give you more space to revolve in the spine and for the ribs to open. So from this side angle bend, left arm comes to vertical. Focus to right buttock. It's going to move up and back. This will pull on the back of the legs, especially the back of the thigh, so that you come into your trikonasana. Do put some tone through the pelvic floor. If you feel like you're in a C shape to the lower ribs, hold the ribs, get some length through the side of the body, and then put the arms in. Head can be anywhere. So you can even close the back of the neck if that feels right for you, if you want to open up through the throat. Just really do what feels right. Drop the pelvis down so the right knee bends and you're going to frame the foot. Pivoting on the toes. So again, you could come into plank with the knees down. Or with that knee lifted, you have to find this position to then come into this position. So we're going to hold plank, whatever version, for 30 seconds. So I'm timing it. So do know that you can come and rest at any time. It's just an aim, but it doesn't have to be your aim. It's a general aim. Wherever you are though, you feel like you're grounding through the earth. So you're using the earth to press up with the high tone through the pelvic floor. This is your last 5 seconds. Now, if you've got the knees down, lift them up so that you can push back to dog down and walk the feet and the hands together. So you're in a relaxed forward fold. This is where you might want your props because we're going to come into a squat. So I've got a pre-rolled blanket. Now, we're all shaped differently. Some of us have got really open hips. So if you've got open hips, then you might want to keep your feet more narrow. For me, I don't have open hips. I need my feet about hip width apart, feet turned out so that I can drop the bottom down. And stretch the arms forwards. You're in that flex position. Your back is long. You can use your mat and you pull the mat forwards away from your feet. Now, whatever shape you're in, I'd like your heels grounded. So if your bottom's high to have the heels down, this is where you could support your heels so that the bottom can come down, so that you can actually be in more of a relaxed posture. So you could use yoga bricks, but they're very, very high. If you've got the Sensi balls, they work beautifully as well, as long as they're not overinflated. Rolled up yoga mat, perhaps. I mean, some of you might just be really comfortable in this posture. So we're just going to be here for another 30 seconds. And we're going to close then with some a strengthening exercise for the oblique abdominal muscles. So the oblique abdominal muscles are part of core, that word core, that's banded around a lot. So from your malasana, obviously knowing that we've all got different props, you're going to bring the bottom to the earth. Remove the props out of the way. And you're going to roll yourself down. So however that looks for you, just be nice and secure. Draw up through the pelvic floor. Come to lying. Now notice the natural curve of your lower back. And we want to keep that nice natural curve. Draw strongly up through the pelvic floor. You're going to pick up the left foot. The right foot's going to stay on the earth. Interlink the fingers. Place the hands behind the back of the head. Now the hands just cup the back of the head a bit like a hammock. You're going to draw the elbows up. So you're squashing your head. Now, as you breathe out, drop the lower back to the earth. Keep the high tone through the pelvic floor. Crunch up. As you breathe in, open the elbows wide. As you breathe out, rotate to the left. As you breathe in, lengthen the left leg. As you breathe out, bend the left leg. So you are holding this crunched, twisted position, and you're adding weight to the posture by lengthening the lever of the leg. Try and keep your breath slow, low, light, and quiet. Easier said than done, I know, when you feel like you're panting. Might just be me. The next time the knee is above the hip, close the posture, draw the elbows in, and lengthen down to the earth. Keeping the elbows open, lengthen the left leg along the floor. Now keep that left side of the body heavy and tuck the bottom gently under so that you peel the back of the body, and the right hip lifts up. So the left leg is heavy and long. So you're in a twisted bridge. It might be that the left buttock's on the floor, but it might be that you can lift it. So the muscles, these oblique muscles that we have contracted, we're now offering some length to. You're going to lower down on an exhale. Bring that left foot to the floor. Just square the hips. Neutral spine. High tone through pelvic floor. Right foot lifts. Left foot stays to the earth. Draw the elbows to squash the head. Exhale. Drop lower back to earth. Crunch up. Inhale. Open elbows. Exhale. Rotate to the right. Inhale, lengthen right leg. Exhale, bend. So do this with your slow, coherent breathing. So it's a controlled movement that you can come out of at any time. That's my timer going off. Now the next time the right leg is long, drop it to the floor, pivot to the center, close the elbows, lower the head. Now you can release the arms by the sides of the body, right leg heavy, tuck under, but you're really leading with this left front of hip. So the right buttock might stay on the floor, or it might be that the right buttock comes off. But really floppy to the right side of the body with effort coming from the back and the back of the left leg, buttock, and well, the back's having to work somewhat. And then lowering down, bringing the knees in, just giving yourself a hug. And in your own time, you're going to roll to one side, bringing yourself up to sitting.